Okay, good morning everyone. I believe most of you have already installed Rhino Grasshopper Firefly. So let's go to Grasshopper and go to the section of Firefly. If you have successfully installed Firefly, you will see these sections. As far as you can see, there are many different tools which we use inside Rhino Grasshopper, including Arduino. That's something you can use for creating installations, and regions, that's for video editing. And for this time we are going to use in audio, and let's click this one, frequency spectrum. It's a panel which can show the spectrum of your voice, and if you run a grasshopper Firefly works, it's supposed to change based on your voice, no matter it's about volume, frequencies, or maybe another different physical parameters. And if it's not working, which means your sound set, you have to change the sound setting of your OS system. So let's go to the setting to check whether it's right or not. First thing, you can go to type in sound right here and go to sound setting. And as far as you can see, there is multiple options you can choose. First one, you need to choose which one is your input, source input. So for me, I use a micro array, so I will keep it in this one. And also, let's go to Rhinosys. You have to choose the same one, just like the van value right here. So choosing the same one, the microphone array, the real tag. Basically, if you're using the default setting, it looks like this. So make sure this one will be the same one like this. And if you have using another one, like your earphone microphone, or maybe your Apple microphone and speakers, and you can change right here. Okay, so for me, sometimes I will using webcam, so I will using webcam speaker as well. So it's up to you. But anyway, just make sure here we are going to using the same one. And another one is that you need to change. Go to your setting of microphone, and also don't forget to choosing allow all the software to using your microphone. So let's go to microphone setting right here, and you can show all the results and choosing to change the authority of using microphone. So if it works right here, it's supposed to show Rhinosys right here. So which means you allow your software to using your microphone on your laptop. Okay, so don't forget to turn on this one, and first I think this one doesn't matter. That's for another software. But anyway, if you allow your Rhinosys to use your microphone, it's supposed to show up right here. Okay, so that's two things you can do the setting right here. So once it works, it's supposed to when you open up, when you create a spectrum, frequency spectrum component, is supposed to show up like this based on your volume. So for example, if you sing or when you raise your voice, it's supposed to get higher. Okay, so that's the basic setting before we start to using the audio. And there are another icon. I think this one is the most important one. With this one, we can import our voice and extract the data from our voice, including volume, including the wave pressure samples, and also the left channel. That would mean the different channel from your different your earphones. Okay, so that's the most important one. And there's another interesting component, including tone generator and note to frequency. For this one, you can just type in your music additions. For example, you have added some music in another software, or maybe just type in by coding or text, and you can import a note right here, and you can use this one to connect to Rhino Firefly to generate your own music visualizations. And the tone generator, that's for creating the tones, so which means you can just connect these two things together and generate your own music. But here is the thing, Rhino Grasshopper actually is not specific for media design. So if you want to use in Grasshopper to create a visual graphic media work, actually is not that efficient at all, because inside Rhino Grasshopper everything is super precise. Just like Rhino, it's for CAD, it's for industrial purpose. It's not for media or that kind of visual design. So every time it calculates the result, it would take a lot of time. So, and also the result probably compared to something like Touch Designer or maybe compared to Blender as well, it's not that good at all. But Rhino Grasshopper, since it was an industrial design software, so it has a lot of different kind of application. Like Arduino, you cannot use an Arduino inside Blender. And you cannot use an Arduino for a Touch Designer. And also the logic of Grasshopper is still very strong. So we can use Rhino Grasshopper to do many different things. Okay, so let's turn on the tutorial for today. And I'm going to create a repo for you guys. So let's turn on the file. Okay, so as far as you can see, let me explain the logic of this one for you. So basically the spectrum just should, I'm just using the spectrum to check whether my microphone, whether my speaker works or not. So that's the only purpose for this one. And let's take a look of this one, and maybe we can try to play around with this one. And for now it's too large, so I will smaller. That's 0.1 will be fine. Okay. So as far as you can see, once I raise my voice, Rhino Grasshopper will help me to generate multiple repos right here. And if I raise more, it will get in larger and change the color. So that's the things we are going to do for inside this example. And let's take a look of how it works. First thing is we can separate this script, this visual script, in separate different zones. The first one, the most important one, I would say, is this. Ctrl G for grouping. This one is for us to import the voice, including sound capture, timer. This one is which we can use for controlling to record our sound. So this one is the most important one. That's the soul of this software. Without that one, basically it's just we cannot do the music visualization. So that's the first thing. And second one, the second one is more about geometries to using the data which we extract from our voice, including the voice frequency, the volume, and using that data to generate the geometry. So here are two things. First one, to generate the center point of the circle. If I want to create a repo, basically the repo composed by multiple circles, right? So in order to create circles, we need to have center points. So we're using the pop2d to generate a center point, and also the number of the center point will change depends on the value of the song. So actually we can change right here. Okay, so as far as you can see, it will become more random. But if you want to make this one more stable, you can just change right here. Okay, so here's the thing, you can change the random seed based on the value of your song. So that's the part which we use for generate the center point for a circle. And here is another thing for generate the circle. Because the size of the circle will be changed based on the value of our song, so we need to export the data of the value to this area. So right here, as far as you can see, we're using series for generates not a lot of number to create our circle. So based on the value of our song, we generate multiple numbers and export this number to the circle. So right here we generate a circle. Okay, this one we generate a circle. So the final thing is right here, because I hope when we change the when we change the value of the song, we can also change the color. So this part is for rendering. So as far as I can see, this script, basically we can separate this one into 4 different zones. Song input, and create the center point, create the size of the circle, and finally using color for rendering. So that's the way how we compose this script. So let's do this one step by step, and don't worry about that, I will leave you guys to do this one step by step. And for the international program student, in the end of this semester, you have to design your own music visualizations. Okay, so that's the things you are going to do. And for the rest of the students, I would say, well, still I would hope you guys can do your own design works in the end of this semester. That's our semester project. But if you can't, we can just modify mine and try to do your things. But for international students, that's the requirement. I hope you guys can do something totally different, totally new, because it will be related to your fundamental design grade. Okay, so let's get started, and I will start to do the interactive. I will start this one, and let's start to do this one step by step. I can move this one here, and also I can turn off that one, turn off the preview, so we will not see the result of this script, but we still can take a reference right here so that we can more easy to understand.